Hello again. I had a bit of a frustrating night to try to upload a story from my app I use. Story pictures. Look, I have the fire going again tonight, and twice it uploaded it, but only uploaded half the story. Frustrating when that happens. I don't know why it does it, so I'll do it live. It's a grand. It was a grand story too. It was 9.5 minutes long. But for some reason, I tried to load it twice, and I was only telling half the story. And sure, half a story's no good to anyone, And I've surpassed. Got 20,240 followers now. Amazing. Never ever thought we would get that far, but thanks everyone for following. And also the amount of people I get messages from Australia, America, Canada, all mostly tracing their ancestors, and a lot goes on behind the scenes that you don't see, and get great pleasure out of doing that. But going back to the story, as we were so lucky growing up, and in a lot of ways we didn't have nothing. In other ways we were rich in a completely different way. And when I think before Bord na Móna came and destroyed all the bogs with the machines, before modern farming, when there were small farmers everywhere, every other lad was a small farmer, had 15 to 20 acres, 30 acres, and not enough to sustain a family, but they take a second job. And people were much happier in them days. And I remember going out and I used to cross the swamp bog, and the old bogmen used to tell me, they used to say, some of the local people would say, "Oh, you're mad crossing that bog. Don't be going near that bog. It's a swamp, you'll drown, you'll ever..." But the old bogmen used to say to me, "You're dead safe. You're probably safer out there than even where you're living, under the roof you're living in." And we won't go into that one, but it was a lovely place. And in the moonlight, the magic just lit up everywhere. In the dark light of the moon, I could see the hill of Croghan 4 miles away. I could see the hill of Mullaghrush 3 miles the other way. 3 miles the opposite way, I had the holy well of St. Hugh. St. Bridget and St. Patrick were attached to the well of, or the hill of Croghan. Very, very magic, very spiritual. St. Hugh and his monks, the monastery, the holy well, the headache stone, the ring forts. It's completely surrounded the bog. It's indescribable to describe it. And the way I was taught by the old people, particularly the bogmen, they used to say to me, "Nicky Fury, the fairies adore you. They absolutely adore you, or you wouldn't be on that bog. It's as simple as that. And they look after you. And that the child sees the unseen." That was a great saying of theirs. And it took me a long time to cotton on to that, you see, because when I become a teenager, I wasn't just going up to the bog for the magic. As I said in last night's story, I was, there was girls, farmers' daughters. Oh, Lord God, Irish farmers' daughters, I'll tell you something now. I'd be walking along, and this farmer that I mentioned last night need the 5 daughters. So I didn't stand a chance. The youngest one was 5 years older than me, but it's like it didn't count. And they never made a skit out of me, They played a game and I played along with it, and it was mighty crack. And as soon as I seen one of them, and it didn't matter which one of them, Well, it stopped me dead in my tracks like a statue, just standing with my mouth open. Oh, Lord, and when a woman can do that to you, look out. You'll cross bogs in the middle of the night. You'll jump bog holes. You'll fall into bog holes. You won't care. You won't care a damn. I didn't anyway. But I used to love telling them the ghost stories, you see. Women love ghost stories. They love to be terrified, and I love terrifying them because the old father used to sleep up in the old loft. There's a bit of a loft there, and he'd a ladder up to it to get away from it. And when he'd be awake, he'd be looking down with his shiny bald head, and he'd be smiling at me. Sure, he knew fucking well, like, you know, I was an idiot. And we got come 9 o'clock, he'd be snoring above in the bed. And myself and the 5 daughters and the mammy would be sat round the big open fire. Oh, and a huge fire, be full of turfing. Like that flame there, be shadows would be dancing on the wall. I'd start, and I told them, I said, girls, the fairies is very good to me. They let me see things. And even the scary things don't frighten me. And they'd be there and they'd be glued to it. Oh, tell us. And I'd be started telling them, I said, you know, there's an old house there in Rahu. I said, nobody's lived in it for a long time. I said, but when I go down to Cusick's Crossroad, and I stand in each road, each of the 4 roads, I said, then walk the 10 minutes down to this house. I said, and I look through the crack in the door. I can see everything that went on in there, going back 100 years. And this night I started telling them the story about the Traveller man. Tommy Rahigan was his name, from Kilbeggan. And because these 2 old spinster sisters owned the house at the time, and they used to take travellers in, board and lodging for the night, and charge them so much, but because every person that was travelling the road that went in there got robbed, and nobody could catch who was doing it. And the 2 women used to swear in the Bible it wasn't him. And nobody could ever see them. They were never seen doing it. And it was a mystery, no one could figure it out. But one day, Tommy Rahigan come along, and Tommy said, I'll get to the bottom of this. And Tommy took up lodgings this night anyway. And he laid in the bed, and he put his purse of gold and silver coins on the side. And because Tommy could sleep with the one eye open and one eye shut. And he had a sword down by the side of the bed. And in the middle of the night, this big black cat come in the window and snoke up and up with the paw to take the big old Tommy. Lifted up the sword and came down and took the paw off the cat, and the roars of the cat out down the wind and everything. Anyway, the next morning, Tommy got up and he was well pleased with himself. And there was only one sister in the kitchen, and he told her what had happened. He said, a fucking cat been stealing the money off her. Oh, God, that shocked. And he said, where's your sister? Ah, she's out the back there. She's not feeling very well today. Just leave her alone. And Tommy thought better. He went round and went into the back room, and there she was, sat at the table, bowled up in agony, and a big bandage round. Wasn't the hand gone? Well, the girls one was howling this hand, another sister was howling that hand, another one sat on that knee, and another one had the 4 of them round me, and the other one had her arm round my neck. Jesus, I thought I was in heaven. Going home that night, Jesus, I thought I was Elvis Presley. That's the crack we used to be at. And we used to absolutely love it, you know. Oh, and I'd have them convinced. I said, that's the truth, girls. I said, I can do them things. And I could. A lot of the time I could anyway. And as the bog man said to me, Nicky Fury, he said, they adore you, he said, and the child sees the unseen. So there you are now, lads. I got the old story out. It was slow, but there you go. God bless.